Good morning, class. I am Jezza de Baguio, your teacher for today. So our topic for today is number recording of the Egyptian and Greeks. The writing of history, as we understand, it is a Greek invention and foremost among the early Greek historians was the Herodotus. Herodotus was born at Halicarnassus, a largely Greek settlement on the southwest coast of Asia Minor. In his early life, he was involved in the political troubles in his home city and forced to exile to the island of Samos and thence of Athens. He made three principal journeys perhaps as merchant, collecting material, and recording his impression. In Black Sea, he sailed all the way up the west coast of Greek communities of the mouth of the deeper river in what is now called Ukraine, and then along to the south coast to the foot of the Caucasus. In Asia Minor, he transversed modern Syria and Iraq and traveled down to the Euphrates. In Egypt, he ascended the Nile River from its delta to somewhere near Aswan, exploring the pyramids along the way. In 443 BC, Herodotus became a citizen of Thurum in the southern of Italy. In Thurum, he seems to have to pass the last year of his life and involved almost entirely in measuring the history of Herodotus. This history of Herodotus is the book of the larger than the Greek prose work before. The object of his history, as Herodotus conceived it, required him to tell all what he heard, but not necessarily to accept it as a fact. He stated there, "My job is to report what people say, not to believe it all, and this principle is meant to apply to my whole work." Herodotus described the Egypt as the Egypt of the gift of the Nile. The reason why he called that, because since the kingdom owed its survival to the annual flooding of the Nile and resulting depositing of the fertile salt. And that is the history of Herodotus. So now, we will go through the hieroglyphic representation of their numbers. At as early as 3500 BC, the Egyptian has a fully developed number system that would allowing by counting. King number is one of the most remarkable relics of the ancient world, now in the museum of the Oxford University. Another example of recording a very large number as at the early stage occurs in the Book of Dead. This Book of Dead is the collection of religious and magical texts whose principal aim was to secure for the deceased a satisfactory afterlife. The spectacular emergence of the Egyptian government and administration under the powers of the two dynasties could not have taken place without a method of writing, and with such a method both and elaborate in the hieroglyphics. And hieroglyphics system of writing is a picture of script in which character represents a concrete object. The significance we may they recognize it easily in many cases. Egyptian system was a decimal one, which used counting by powers of 10. And this is the hieroglyphic system. So each character in hieroglyphics will represent any symbols. 1 for line, 10 for loop, 100 for rope, 1,000 for flower, 10,000 for finger, 100,000 for tabloid, and 1,000,000 for God. Usually, the direction of writing was from right to left. In Egypt, they have also their system in addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction caused little difficulty in Egyptian number system. For addition, was necessary or only to collect symbols and exchange 10 symbols from next higher symbol. This is how they add an Egyptian for addition. Like for example, 345 and 678. As we all know, the total number of this is 23. So for writing it in a hieroglyphic system, for 343, 3 for loop, 4 for loop, and 5 for lines, plus for 678, 6 for loop, 7 for loop, and 13 for lines. And the converted would be 9 for loop, 1 loop, and 1 loop, and 1 loop, and 3 lines. And be converted again to 1 God, 2 loop, and 3 lines. And for the subtraction, was performed by the same process and reversed. Sometimes borrowing was used performed the same process. Sometimes borrowing was used wherein a symbol for the large number was exchanged for the 10 lower order symbols to provide enough to the smaller number to be subtracted. Like for example, 123 minus 48 is equals to 78. Written it in the hieroglyphic system, 1 for loop, 2 loop, and 3 lines for 123. While for 45 is 4 loop and 5 lines and converted into 11 loop and 13 lines. 4 loops and 5 lines equals to 7 loop and 8 lines. So that is on how the Egyptian write it in the hieroglyphic system. And now we will go through the Egyptian hieratic numeration. As long as writing was restricted to inscription carved on stone or metals, its scope were limited to short records deemed to outstanding importance. With that problem, the Egyptian invented papyrus. Papyrus was made by cutting in thin lightweight strip of stem in the red-like papyrus plant, which was abundant in the Nile Delta marshes. They wrote it in the brushlight, pen, and ink, and made of the ink is made of the colored earth or charcoal that was mixed with water or gum. With the introduction of the papers for the steps in simplifying writing were almost inevitable. The first step was made for the largely by Egyptian priests who developed with a more parade, less pictorial style was better adapted to pen and ink, and that called a hieratic script. Hieratic script is a symbol where written in cursive or running hand, so that at the first sight, their form bears little resemblance to the old hieroglyphics. And that is the hieratic script. So, the hieratic system was used to represent the number as shown in the table above. So, in hieratics, the number of 37 had appeared as 3 loops and 7 lines, but in hieratic script is in that way. See how the hieroglyphics and hieratics are different when it comes to writing. So now, let's tackle the Greek's alphabet numerical number system. Greek of Ionia also developed a seraphical numerical system, but with a more extensive set of symbols to be memorized. They tempered their numbers of means by the 24 letters of original Greek alphabet, augmented by the 3 obsolete phonemical letters, the gamma for 6, the Copa for 90, and the Sampi for 900. The resulting 27 letters were used as follows. The initial 9 letters was associated with numbers from 1 to 9. The next 9 letters represented the first 9 literal multiplies of 10. The 9 letters were used to 9 integral multiplies for 100. Like for example, here, that is the spheral system. So the principal, so like for example here, the principal show of 700 plus 80 plus 4 is equals to 784. 10 of 1,000 were indicated by using a new letter M from the word merchant. Marad, meaning the 10,000. The letter M plays either to the next or below the symbols of a number. From 1 to 9,999. Cause the numbers to be multiplied by 10,000 as the example for this. As example. So 8M. So 8M here, 8 represent for this 4. So 4 times 10,000 is equals to 40,000. So PV. So P is represent for 1,000 and V for where is it? 400. So 500 times 100,000 is equals to 100,500. 1,500. So that is. Let's go to the multiplication of Greek and alphabet number. Was performed by beginning with the highest order in each factors and forming a sum of partial product. Like for example, here in the screen, 24 times 53 is equals to 1,000 and 1,660. So it will separate the 1,060. So it's 1,000 plus 200 is equals to 1,200. 60 plus 12 is equals to 74. So 24 times 53 is equals to 1,274. So that is the way on how they multiply in the Greek alphabet. Thus, the Greek began by calculating 20 times 50, then the process to 20 times 30, 20 times 3, then 4 times 50, and finally 4 times 3. This method is called Greek multiplication. As in the screen here, 24 times 53 is equals to 20 plus 4 plus 50 plus 3. So they separate the 20, 24 and 53. So 20, they distribute the 20 into 50 and 20 into 3 and 4 into 5 and 4 into 3. So it will total of 1,274. So that's all for today. I hope you got some information on how the Egyptian and Greek multiply and the addition and subtraction. And that's all. Thank you.